Oh, hold on. I need to do this. Need to have my spectacles on so that I can do this all properly. The way that it's supposed to be done, madam. Good evening and welcome to the Slicer TV podcast. We are on episode
Please
18.
listen here. We are not a newsroom Africa or ENCA. This dude trying to put us on some serious tip here.
We're
We are on
practicing.
holiday mode. It's
We
like
don't know where that gig might pop, eh? So you must just always be ready.
always channeling different kinds of things, just to show Bana you versatile, my
You
nigga.
know, a little
You
bit of
can do
versatility.
you can move into spaces of media. I get you.
Yeah. How's the queen doing?
Jeez, man, good. Feeling a little bit exhausted. I think my body's like crashing now. After
Yo.
a long year. I'm feeling a bit heavy, but I think it's good because it means I must rest. I must actually just take time to properly focus on recharging my body and mind and just take things easy. So looking forward to the holidays and just taking a break a little bit. Yeah, man. Otherwise, how are you?
That's great. I'm a bag of mixed emotions.
Sure.
There's just a lot happening. Yeah, in a very short space of time. It's yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
mm,
yeah. It's work. It's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we
yeah,
don't take holiday, obviously.
yeah.
So we're gonna keep grinding. And that is it. And a very interesting week. Yeah,
Yes,
there's just a lot going on. By the way, today
yeah.
we'll be speaking to the Eastern Cape Department of Transport spokesperson, or
Okay.
Mr. Unathi Binqose.
Okay.
We obviously come from that's a very, very, very I don't even know what to call it, catastrophic, sad, all kind of
Mm,
adjectives to describe what had happened on the N9 near Grafrenet with those
yes,
people that passed on.
yes. Geez, man, we always talk about people taking good care of themselves and the lane, drivers being, like vigilant and alert, making sure that they're rested. And year in, year out, there's always these catastrophic accidents that are happening in our roads. And it's very sad, Slice, to see that, like a lot of people losing their lives and losing family members just isn't it's yeah, it's
Mm.
yeah.
And I listened to there was a particular radio station I was listening to. I always channel hop. Not that I'm not loyal, mhlobo enene. Yeah, but on the road, like always channel hop and stuff. And I picked
Yeah.
up they were actually highlighting provinces and roads that are actually dangerous. They counted a number of them in the Eastern Cape,
Wow.
which is a part of the reason why I have decided, we've decided that we're actually going to be getting somebody from the Eastern Cape province
Yeah.
to actually just make us aware of all these issues and challenges.
Cool, man. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. On the
Wow.
news front,
Yeah.
a lot has been going on, Queen. A
A lot
lot has
has been
been
going on.
going on. For
Yes.
starters, if we are to judge by the number of what you call this events that
Yes.
took place just this past weekend, it's
Ooh.
crazy.
A
It's
lot.
crazy. And some were given thumbs up, and some, well, people were. I happen to know one person who actually suffered such, and she's not on the podcast with
Mm.
us, but she's gonna share with us and tell us
Man.
what went down. That's how our sister station was out here. Well, doing what they do.
do what they
Um,
do, man. Yes, yes. So Metro FM Heatwave, it's almost like a tour, right? That they do in
yeah,
Metro FM, right? And of course, this um past weekend is it past weekend? When was it? When did we go to this? Yesterday. It was yesterday.
it
Um,
was, yeah, I think yesterday.
yes, it was yesterday. Yes, because it was a public holiday, so long
Mm-hmm.
weekend. So there were
Wow, holiday
yes.
mode, somebody.
What's the date, Conan? The 17th of December? Okay, let's get me back on track here.
Yeah. It's the 17th of
17th
December.
of December,
Yeah.
people. Okay. And December, guys, just so
I was just about to ask.
because what December, people's sobriety is always questionable. But Heatwave came in. I was actually very excited, like, so just to kind of like kick it in with my sister and just lay back, go listen to some good music, and of course support our artists and of course abantu that are in the entertainment space and marketing and all of that, right?
Yeah.
I must say though, I must just put this forward that I do have high expectations when it comes to things that I attend and I go to. There's always
Because
this
you pay money.
expectation because you pay money, but also you time, man. For me, it's like I can pay the money, but make the time worth it. Make the 3 hours, 5 hours I'm gonna spend there, worth my while. Otherwise, I could have just sat in my house and just opened a bottle of bubbly and just chilled.
Chilled at home. Just chilled at home.
So, anyways, first up is the starting time. Always, and I don't know, Slice, so you must just help me understand here. Is it a norm in the entertainment space for bana kuqalwe late? Okay, is it an African thing? What is it? So the start time, they were late. They were not prepared. When we got there, we were told, bana, they're still setting up. And I was late, by the way. We were late when we went to the event because we
Wow.
gave ourselves an
You guys
hour
were
window.
late and you got there. The people that were supposed
Yes,
to host
the
you
organizers, or
the organizers were late.
Sorry, exactly.
Interesting.
So we left an hour late because we were giving the window, but just in case Kuko some glitches or whatever they need to sort out. Let's just give an hour. So we got there. We were actually early, and then we waited another 2 hours for the event to start.
Whoa.
Which was a little bit of a disappointment, right?
I can imagine.
Sipayana Ngoko, okay, we're there. We want to attend the event because we've already made the conscious decision that we're gonna go, right? So we enjoyed the 2 hours delay, and they get started, and then as the artists are coming up, of course there is this obvious delay that's happening within their lineup. You can see, some people are taking longer than expected. In what do you call it? The guys that announce the artist that's gonna come to play. Yes, they were also quite disorganized. It seemed like they weren't sure who's man that's supposed to take over. It didn't feel organic and very like organized. And then the major one. So okay, I can forgive.
There's more. There's more.
I wish. You know what? The time I can forgive, because I know, as a person who does a lot of project management, I know a lot can go wrong. That you did not plan. Like you were that we can't fault them on that.
Apparently, it was also just a bit offish, yeah.
Yes, and then there's always going to be like those things that are happening. But the major one was the technical issues. Seriously, that for me was just a letdown. At some point, Upas, the DJ, was on decks, and there was some glitches during his set.
No way, man.
And then Ulwan Nkulu could not perform. Literally, the mic was like not functional. And at some point, things just went off.
Crazy
moment, and it was just like, well, we
crazy.
Just think it's Equidro at this point in time to cope.
Did you guys gwidge? Did you guys gwidge?
Yes,
Wow, our guest is out here and waiting for us. I mean, like this, like I just looked at what I was doing, pre-production. I'm like, every
Yeah,
second
yeah,
item that we have is around entertainment. There's a lot that happened, like not even the Metro FM Heatwave as well.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but we just want to get our guests up with us and just talk to him on the Slicer TV podcast. And obviously, if you guys have questions for him, please, by all means, we have a comment
Yeah.
section on both YouTube and Facebook as well. So make sure that you actually, ask whatever questions you have pertaining to the issue with the roads. And I think it's time for me to welcome my sir, Mr. B. It seems you are muted, my sir.
All
Yeah.
right, I was just look. I've got many problems, man. I'm not happy with my lights. I'm not happy with my lights.
You like these
Um,
shows now?
yeah, you know what? If you can give me maybe some 2 or 3 minutes, maybe
Two,
let me
3 minutes.
try a quiet
Yes,
room inside the
yes,
house.
certainly, sir.
Thank you so much, and pardon
All
me for that.
right. Mr. Binqose, spokesperson for the Eastern Cape Department of Transport.
Yeah.
We obviously just want to find out, what the state of the roads
Yeah.
is currently in our country, because it appears it's not good at all, and especially in the Eastern Cape province.
Yeah.
I think I picked up, but obviously I can't go with stuff that I pick up on social media platforms. I have to be diligent and go check up, on news sources. Apparently, there was another accident somewhere near the Kai Kartings, a truck and
Oh,
a small vehicle. I'm sure a lot of people saw that on social media platforms, and there's quite a lot. So it is a bit of a worry. It is a
yeah.
bit of a worry. I think, and I'm also happy that we're actually going to be talking about mental health in December, because a lot happens during this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I really want us to. He is a busy man. Obviously, he's 24/7 out there trying to make sure that is a whole lot better, sir. That
Yes.
is a
Now
whole.
now we can see
That is.
about color shading, because that was
He's
painful.
joined the he's joined the celebrities. Now he looks like a
Yes.
celebrity as well. Oh man, Mr. Binqose, let's say good evening to you and welcome to the Slicer TV podcast.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting. Greetings to you, and greetings to the lady who's part of the panel.
Oh yes, that is the first lady of the podcast. Yeah, she is the one who makes sure that we are online, and obviously respectful and all of these things. But said, I really don't want to waste your time. We are facing a catastrophe, a painful scourge out there on our roads. And as I was saying to Toto earlier on, that over the weekend I was listening to a particular radio station, and they were counting routes per province where accidents are prone to take place during this time, and they counted quite a number of them in the Eastern Cape, all the way from when you enter through Kokstad, all the way down Obomuntata, your routes, for people that travel, from Cape Town. Um, do you just want to tell us, or maybe give us an update in terms of where we are sitting right now, in terms of our roads?
Yes, like so those assertions are not far-fetched, given where the province is geographically in relation to your major centers like your Gauteng, your Western Cape. It's quite isolated. Traveling from the Eastern Cape, particularly the eastern parts of the Eastern Cape, like Umtata to Cape Town, is a distance of no less than 1,200 kilometers. And by the time you get to some stretches, fatigue is likely to kick in and affect you when you are closest to your home. It's the same as when you are in Joburg. I'm in Gauteng as I'm speaking to you now. I'm going to be making my
Yeah.
way down to the Eastern Cape. And I looked at the GPS. It's telling me that it will take me no less than 10 hours to get to East
Mm-hmm.
London. You talk about Umtata is probably a bit further. So those are some of the contributing factors. And we know, Sly, so the first half of the festive season for us, the days leading up to Christmas, are by far the toughest for us because we are talking about migrant workers who are traveling long distances and get to our province, when they are really, really fatigued. And many of them tend to get into accidents when they are closest to home. As I'm speaking to you now, the last time I checked, which was yesterday, after that accident that claimed 15 lives, we were sitting at 64 fatalities for since the 1st of December, which is
Jeez.
not a good picture at all. I mean, think about it. It's how many taxi loads those are. I
Jeez.
mean, approximately 4 or 5. So
Hmm.
that's quite a lot. But prior to that accident, we were on par with the figures compared to last year. And please note that last year we were able to reduce the number of fatalities by 21.5%, the highest in the country compared to the year before. So we were on track to match that. But the yesterday's accident has changed that picture completely. But it's still in our hands, Sly, so we can still
Mm.
pull it together and ensure that we don't see any more accidents going forward.
Mr. B, you mentioned fatigue, and given the fact that like the accident happened at around 5 a.m. in the morning, a lot of people always, like we try to choose different times for travel. One would say, I'm gonna wake up at 3 o'clock, omnye ubuye emsebenzini, and you actually just get on the road without resting and stuff. The obviously but we're gonna get to visibility and its effect. But now for motorists who are actually going to be traveling, like what advice would you give them? Given times of travel as well.
Slice would say you have to respect your body clock. You know that during the night your body naturally will be sleeping, and during the day is awake. So I would always encourage people to rather travel during the day because of that body clock that I've spoken about. But the issue of visibility that you've just touched on, it's quite important because during the day you can see what is happening all around you, and of course there's generally higher volume of vehicles. But in terms of wild animals that are also a factor,
Hmm.
particularly driving through to the Western Cape, those will most probably be asleep during the day and are out at night. So we always encourage people to travel during the day because it's in line with your body clock, and the issue of visibility doesn't become much of a problem as well. But of course, taking regular rests is one of the
Hmm.
major things that we encourage. And we've noticed, particularly in the taxi industry, there's a tendency of people dropping people or driving from the Western Cape with a full load and then heading
Jeez.
back to the Western Cape with a taxi that is empty without taking any rest. And they rely so heavily on these so-called energy drinks, and many of them have unfortunately, crashed because they do not allow their bodies the rest that they need.
That is Queen. I don't know whether if you have a question before I ask my follow up.
I wanna just check Unathi, what is the rate of alcohol and accidents that are happening on our roads, the correlation with the fatalities that we've had, because we are always reminded to drink responsibly, but also don't drink and drive. And I wanted to just check, are people complying with that? Do you see that people are still being somewhat reckless, drinking and driving? And could that be the reason why also rate, of fatalities is going a bit up?
Look, we have to take our hats off to the majority of road users in the country and in the province as well, and that a lot of them are compliant. It's just a handful of people that are breaking
Mm,
the rules. So we can't paint everyone with the same brush. We've got to acknowledge when people are doing well. But for long distance drivers in particular, uh, we've got to admit that we generally do not have a problem of people who are drinking and driving. It's those who are driving in between townships and towns, those who think they're
mm,
traveling short distances and nothing will really happen. Those are the ones and that have died the most out of drunken driving. What springs to mind is an accident that happened recently. I think it was on Saturday, a head-on collision where three people died. There were some serious hints of alcohol having been used in one of those two vehicles. It was a head-on collision. It happened on the R61 near Bizana. We found some bottles of alcohol inside one of the two vehicles, and
wow.
unfortunately, both occupants of that vehicle had perished on the scene from that accident. And unfortunately, in the other vehicle that they collided with, a lady who's an adult woman, unfortunately,
Mm,
also lost her life. Think about the impact. We are talking here about possibly a mother, an aunt, someone who
a
is of great
breadwinner.
focus to the family. You know what I mean? And that
Mm,
family has a responsibility of bearing someone who may have been a pillar of their family out of the problem of drunk driving. So we have a serious problem. We can never downplay it. And we know that post Christmas and on Saturdays in particular.
just lost Mr. B there. Yeah, but that's it's such a grim picture. There
Yeah.
he is back. Um, there he is back with us.
Yeah.
There you go. We apologize
Yeah, there was
about
a
that.
call coming in. I hope it didn't disrupt the transmission. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
saying
don't. Mm.
I want to reiterate that the main problem with drunk driving is those who are driving in between towns, those who think they are traveling short distances and nothing will really happen. We've seen a lot of them
Mm.
losing their lives, unfortunately.
And we actually can't keep you long. No, but obviously, for those who will be traveling, and as you say that, like, I mean, leading up to Christmas, excuse me, leading up to Christmas, that's when most accidents take place because everybody is rushing, um, targeting to be at home for that particular day. So, which means that from all directions, like people are on the road. Are there roads that you guys have highlighted as probably ones where people should actually be paying most attention to? Not that they shouldn't be in in others as well, but obviously you do have ones that are sort of like your black sheep. Do you have those like in entering and probably leaving the province and nationally, if you can, if you have that information?
Slice of the Queen, there are quite a few of those roads, particularly those major arteries that are connecting with us with other provinces. The N2 to the west through the Garden Route, connecting us with the Western Cape, the N2 to the east. You know, I didn't realize how busy that road is until I drove on it on Friday. The number of minibus taxis that were coming out of KZN into the province, and that was
Wow.
unprecedented. I mean, I frequent that road, but the number of minibus taxis that were coming. So it's one of those roads that we're looking at. Of course, the R61 also connecting us with the Western Cape,
Mm.
the Karoo areas of Fort Beaufort, Graaff-Reinet. We have seen a lot of crashes that are happening there. The N6, the N9, those are the routes that are connecting us with the northern provinces through the Free State provinces like Gauteng, Northwest. We will be keeping a very close eye on those routes in terms of the deployment of traffic law enforcement officers. But not only that, rapid response teams, all of them, in cases that an accident happened, so that there can be a prompt response. But what we can tell you, Slicer, is that the main contributing, factor to accidents that we've seen, not just during the festive season or the peak periods, but right through the year, it is you and I as drivers. You know, the most
Mm.
common denominator in just about every crash, it is the driver. So we have a greater responsibility as drivers in particular, in that we were trained before we were allowed to get behind the wheel. I mean, we've gone through learner's licenses where you are taught, the road signs and stuff like that. before you are allowed to get behind the wheel. So we are calling on motorists, drivers in particular, to take extra responsibility, be patient with one another, and ensure that you take full responsibility for your own life and the life of other road users. But we'll ensure that we deploy law enforcement officers in their numbers and all the medical personnel in cases of emergency, so they can have mobile hospitals closer to where you will be. And of course, post Christmas, our focus is going to shift towards the coastal resorts. As you know, that our people tend to enjoy days post Christmas closer to the coastal areas. And unfortunately, there generally is a peak in terms of alcohol consumption, and will intensify our, drunk driving operations in those areas. And in some areas, Slice will go public to tell the people that we will have an operation at Eastern Beach, for instance,
Yeah.
because this thing of hiding these operations, you end up, losing people. Whereas if you inform them that this will be happening, maybe it may encourage them to drink responsibly, in that they will have sober people who will drive for them, because we are not saying people must not drink at all. However, we are calling for responsible drinking and having sober drivers to take them home.
All right, Mr. B, I know you're a very busy man. I don't know, Quinn, if you have any last questions for Mr. B.
No, just from my side, just an appreciation for Unathi. I follow him on TikTok, and he gives us these updates, and I appreciate that, because sometimes you're on the road, you haven't checked the news, you're not sure what's happening, you don't know what's happening, and because we are on social media, it's so important to have credible people that will give factual information on what's happening, on matters as fun. So I appreciate the work that he does. They're just giving us those updates and making sure that people are safe. Continue to do that, sir.
Oh,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
yeah. But I think from my end as well, when I'm Mr. Binqose, it's basically thank you, because I think I've seen in places like Nelson Mandela Bay where there's an increased number of recruits, as far as traffic officials are concerned, and obviously visibility, is there. I think in some places cameras are coming, are getting back to normality again. So well done to you and your department, sir, and thank you very much for your time.
I can thank you enough for the opportunity, and thank you for highlighting. Yes, we have 127 more boots on the ground that will, increase our visibility and ensure that people obey the rules of the road. But like we always say, we can't win this battle alone. We need you, Sly, so we need the Queen to be responsible drivers, so we can stop the carnage that is happening on our roads. But thank you very much
As
for
I
the
was, as I
opportunity.
was saying to you, my man, I am probably thinking twice about going back, going down to the. I'm like, no.
This is not a call about my daughter,
You know what I mean?
please,
I am a good
but
ghost, my good.
Eva, Eva. Thank you so much, Mr. B.
Cheers, guys.
Unathi
Thank you very, very
Binqose,
much.
yeah, Eastern Cape Department of Transport, spokesperson right here with us on the Slicer TV podcast, man. I would say thank you very much for, availing himself and actually speaking to us. I think it's for people out there. I think who else? I just picked up messages from
yes.
people. There's one
Man,
day.
let's greet our people back on the app. There's quite a few today. Very
Mm-hmm.
nice. Yeah. Showing us so much love. Um,
Tsepo there. Tsepo Malibo.
yes, Sepa Mali was talking about just sending safe messages and best wishes to drivers who are traveling, and also reiterating the issue of safety. Please be safe, guys. Make sure that you're sober. Make sure that you're rested. Thanks so much, Sepo, for joining us. And then, of course, Umush is always with us. I think.
This Glenn Z Kruger. Yeah, Mush. That's my Umhlebuwenene FM Saturday resident DJ. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
I wish.
Yeah,
And Glenn Z also talking about. I think he was talking to your first statement when we started the pod. A very difficult time, which I'm going to touch on the Momo side. It's a difficult time indeed. December, not always the fun and celebratory time that we always think, right?
And I have to say a shout out to this queen over here. She just graduated. It's amazing. You meet people and you become family. She's out in the United Kingdom.
Wow.
She is a mother. She is a student, and
Wow.
she works as well. And man, I don't know what I did with that picture. I wanted to put it up, for other people to just be motivated, bro.
Of
You know.
course, we are always preaching the issue of, role modeling, by action, not by words. I love it. Let's greet some others. I see
Who
Uspiwe
else is there? Uspiwa, this one is long. I'm like thinking,
was asking
what
for
is
a track. We're
going
gonna come
on?
back to him. He's
Plotman
talking
Slicer,
about
please help with the track. Z-man called him closer, clients up, please.
Listen here, like the loser way, like asking for tracks up. He obviously is also your listener because this sounds to me like someone who listens to you DJing. That's
No,
like
certainly.
yeah,
No, certainly. And obviously, Talando William from the radio side as well is here.
yes. And
Just saying greetings,
yeah.
Zingsile and
Quite a
I
few people joining from social from Facebook.
from
Hey
Facebook.
guys.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Molweni. Nwabisa is also just joining in. Molweni Kaya. Yes, Guya Lotudangai. I just saw now.
yeah. So very interesting. Like getting back and to the show.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
just a lot happening. There's what's his name? Oh my gosh. This guy here. Yeah. This one.
Oh, Oscar, what's happened now? What is he
Uh
saying?
Oskido is back, making headlines again. Has got a new girlfriend, and apparently he's cleaning up his image. I actually just pulled that story from iol.co.za. You can read the rest of it there at the bottom, you beautiful viewer. So he's got a new girlfriend. He's been doing some what do they call it? It's not in service training or something else. It's December, okay.
Community service.
Community service, yeah, at some Dutch Reformed church somewhere. He lives in a cabin at his uncle's huge estate, and just fallen in love with this girl who apparently looks a lot like River Scancum.
This is the current girlfriend.
No. This is River. I
Okay.
tried to find her picture online. I couldn't.
I
The new.
was gonna be like, what?
Uh,
I was
but
like,
very interesting is that people were saying that Mamaga Riva actually sent a message to the girl saying, beware, pass up.
Just giving out a warning, of course. I mean,
And a lot of people had quite a lot to say about that as well. Yeah. I mean,
it's understandable. The mother still, I think, is still grieving and still quite sad, and in some ways or the other, she might see this girlfriend as undombi yakhe, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to be overprotect. Like any parent, you don't wish anyone to be in danger, especially with someone that is capable of harming another person. So yeah.
Yeah, let's cross fingers for the poor girl, man. Yeah, so there's just a lot. I said that we're gonna be talking a lot more about Breezy.
Listen,
No.
I guys, our viewers, you guys, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I was very jealous of the people that went to see Breezy. Okay.
No, to figure
I don't want to lie. No. I was very jealous, but I was calculating, and the budget was just saying, "Wana, not today, sweet.
Not today.
Not this year." So I had to sit this one, out, and it was just painful to watch all the updates And but at the same time,
and people even got bitter. Some
you
people
know
were so
what?
bitter.
I was sad but happy at the same time, like, because this is where I saw in the positive side of digital technology and how we can be part of something that we are not necessarily, in,
Yeah,
by
you're not
virtually.
physically there.
Yes, so I was like, oh man, there was a time where I wouldn't even be following Makwenza Gandoni Bushoga Crispin, but because of technology, I can be part of this. I can get updates. It was nice. So that part made me feel, yeah, guys, and I feel like, okay, not
Yeah.
so bad, not so bad.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Obviously, you will remember there was an organization that had signed petitions and all kinds of stuff around this. And I also, very interestingly, from from gentlemen who are fathers to daughters, and
Yeah,
I think one, I'm not going to mention people's names, obviously,
yeah.
out of respect, where he was lamenting that actually his daughters didn't mention anything until the weekend passed about Chris Brown, and when he asked, and he was just told, not that one who is an abuser. So it's very interesting,
Yeah.
that people have been trying to shut him down in a number of
Yeah.
countries, and for him to come to South Africa and say this has to be the biggest show of my life. You must remember, FNB Stadium is the biggest stadium in Africa,
In
not
Africa,
in
yes.
Africa. It is the biggest.
And
Yeah.
it,
So, just lost you there.
I'm saying it was full. It was full. The stadium was like, it was packed.
It was packed. I try to find something here. Let's see if I'm able to.
I do want to just qualify this thing, Sly, this
Mhm.
this whole debate, and I know this is gonna sound a bit controversial because I'm a person that works a lot in the GBV space and I do a lot of awareness
Yes,
around that, and as a
yes.
psychologist, and I understand the GBV impact, the negative consequences it has on people that have experienced it, but at the same time, I really don't like this toxic feminism, this toxic, activism that puts people down, and that pushes the hate so much against men. And disturb us somehow, because I feel like it's the reason why we're not making any progress when it comes to GBV, even in our country. And I say this because humans of course, are humans here. They will make mistakes, right? And they must take accountability and they must face the consequences. But we also need to give room to people to grow. People don't stay the same. People do grow. And that's one of the things that draw me into psychology, is that people will change if they want to change, if they put in the work, and we must give them the space to learn and to evolve, to grow. And you can see, man, there's something about Chris Brown that you can see from the way that his performances, like the way he takes his work seriously. But there's definitely a level of consciousness that he's kind of like arriving at here. Take away what has happened and what he's done and what he's been involved in and what he's accused of. But the guy is mature. The guy has learned, some lessons in the mistakes that he's made, and is obviously channeling that now into music, productively.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he would be so successful if ebengafundanga isifundo Chris Brown, because he would still be going down that destructive path. So for me, I struggle with people who don't give space for other people who've made mistakes. Give the person space to learn from their mistakes. Give them space for them to transform, because the transformation doesn't happen overnight. It has to be given time, and then see through action, what is this person now after 5 years, after whatever. What are they doing? What are they getting involved in? So I was just like, you know what? I mean, I don't know if there's any recent things that Chris Brown has been involved in, but just from the work for me, I don't know him, personally, to kind of like get so drawn into his personal life also. But when it comes to his work ethic,
His work.
you can definitely see, Bana. Here's a man now. Here's a man that's focused, himself, his legacy. And that can only be a person who has come to a certain point of realization. Bana, I can't
Of
continue.
realization.
Yes, I can't continue to go to the destructive side. I can't continue to be high all the time, because sober, and expect to banana progress in life. At least from that point, that's my stance when it comes to this situation, and it goes to even up in South Africa as well. We have this issue where we have men who are cancelled. They're not given space, they're not given opportunity to express themselves, their side of the story, and we see the silencing of men also who suffer. Through this GBV issue, where a person will come forward and a female will come forward and claim, there was GBV or there's rape or whatever. And then when it's proven, it's not the case, nothing is said about the suffering of the male counterpart, nothing said about the fact that this person, Sambi, was not getting work because of this. So the double standard is a problem for me, and I think we need to find a balance in this work. And yeah.
It's very crazy. You should mention that. I mean, like, obviously, just this past week we were dealing with the whole Jay-Z issue. I remember we woke up this past weekend, and then it was like, no, Jay-Z has been added onto the list of
Yes.
people who, I think the goal was like, what, 13, 16 or so, something crazy like that. At the time, all those years back, allegedly. And it turns out that there actually is a lawyer, because they excuse me, they would be calling this like low hanging fruit. We're just going to file, and most people end up paying. It's almost like the same issue that I think I was talking about with a couple of with a couple of gentlemen. This whole thing of dating someone, nisuke, you go out together, you go sleep at the guy's place, you guys like get naughty, you wake up in the morning and umdu songa izandla and asking in Dokbana, okay, cool. So what about this 5,000?
Yeah, and if you don't give the
And now
5,000,
you're like, what 5,000 now? So there are lawyers that are actually doing that, and that's what they tried with Jay-Z. And the actual alleged victim came out. The story was inconsistent. The father of the alleged victim also refused to corroborate the story, and said, "I'm not going to be part of that nonsense," when you know that it didn't take place. But the lawyer is still pressing and continues to say that, like, there's a case to answer for Jay-Z. So it's a very that's a very sensitive topic issue, and I think going into the new year, I think men should be stepping out there, talking more about what they suffer as well. We're not sitting here and saying that, like, we're vilifying whatever women are putting out there. They're still getting abused in numbers, but obviously these abusers. The question that somebody was talking about is like, if you were to sit down with these people, you will probably find out that they were abused themselves, to start with. And I think, like, as I always say, Snoop Dogg said, hurt people hurt people. I think it's almost like a prelude to us getting into the Momo, and let's do it in fashion.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Give up on your dreams, don't give up on yourself. It can also be a developmental crisis issue. Keep pushing and stay the course. Bum, 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 bum. I think we're gonna have to record this.
We have to put some lyrics on it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not that creative, but hey, we'll find people who can, get this done.
I'll be here.
Guys, welcome to another Momo session with your girl T, Chops, the psychologist. So I want to talk about, managing with December like a mental health pro and just give a few tips on how we can manage with December, right? But also with the idea that there's the mental health side that we need to be protecting, making sure by now we don't impact the mental health here too negatively because we're getting crazy with December. But before I go there, I want to say this, Sly. So we assume that December is a merry time for everybody. We assume that December is a happy time, and I know for sure it's not always the case. What December brings a lot of anxiety for a lot of people because some people don't necessarily have close relationships with their families, and December is always, this time where kuko le pressure bana we must get together, as families we must get together and go on 25 December, on Christmas, and that brings a lot of anxiety for people who don't necessarily have good relationships with their families. And that also can bring a sadness for people who have lost their loved ones. Like, so we know, again, people, have experienced losses. Some people lost their parents. Some people lost their siblings, their cousins, very important people in their lives. And so what December is a triggering time because now they have to go home. They have to face the reality, and there's going to be the feeling of grief that's going to come in weighing heavily on you. It's going to trigger you, seeing stories of other people share, pictures with their families. It's going to trigger you because you might be at a different stage where you are grieving a loss, of your loved ones. And so this time is not happy. And I want to say that it's okay to not be happy with December. I think we need to just take off the pressure, man, because I feel a lot of people talk to me and they're like, I'm not okay.
All right.
I'm
Yeah.
not happy. I'm not in a good space. Tops, and is something wrong with me? And I say, no, there's nothing wrong with you. There is just this expectation of an.
I don't know why I'm losing you there, Toto.
Sorry. I think
Okay, I got you. I got you.
for me. So there's. I just want to say, Rana, I think I'm giving our viewers, like, and everyone else who's feeling heavy, Rana, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to pretend you are happy. Girl pleasure, you have your reasons. It's important to know also, Rana, you understand what is making you feel this way, what is contributing to you not feeling happy and not feeling, merry like everyone else, and for you to take care of yourself, and that is to do whatever is necessary for you to feel okay. So make sure that you prioritize your mental health. You will know what you need to do. So if awukwazi ugoduka uyomelana empty house engakhoyo umama akho kuyo, or you can't go home because kukho la uncle ungafuna umbona because there was child molestation that happened, it's okay. Don't go home. Don't force yourself to go into spaces that you are not going to feel comfortable in. Wandis was telling me that I am muted. Can you hear me, Sly?
Um, I can hear you. That was earlier on. Thank you so much, Andy.
Thanks so much, Andy. So for me, guys, it's very important. But I said, don't force yourself. Don't force yourself to be happy. Don't pretend. Also, So sometimes it takes us to have to be honest with ourselves and take the risk of disappointing other people, who expect us to be happy, to say, look, Andiko, right? I'm not okay, and just own it. Just own it. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to say wanakuteni. Just tell them I'm not in a good space, and that's that, right? Now, the other part that I wanted to touch on, because again, there's so much pressure financially that is placed on us, that we place on ourselves, go December. And I call this unnecessary pressure sometimes, because sometimes Nati, we My network.
Okay, yeah, I just keep losing you there.
I think I just lost connection.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll allow the queen to recover. Okay, we'll allow her to recover. But obviously, I mean, like picking up some of the points that I'm picking up. You obviously sitting and watching at home. You about to enjoy your holiday. You're on your last days at work, or you actually are on holiday already, or thinking and contemplating going home. I remember I had this conversation as well because we all people and we suffer these. You know, you used to go home because your dad was there, you know, your mom was there, or your parents were there, and obviously this started around COVID time as well, when people lost their loved ones to COVID, and home doesn't, you know, was not the same anymore. And the question you might be asking yourself is, what am I going home to? You know, you probably are going to be getting triggered as well. You know, being in a space or a home that you used to share with your parents, you know, during this time, but now you can't. But the queen is back. I was trying to act all professional up in here,
Look,
but it's very beautiful, and I mean, it's a conversation I had just recently with a best friend of mine. You know,
yeah.
who had recently lost his mom, and is like thinking, you know, what's the point of me,
Going home.
you know, making this travel? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're gonna get triggered. I mean, especially if it's something that is still fresh in your, you know,
Yes.
in your
Yeah.
mind and memory as well. But obviously, we have a
Yeah.
professional. You may proceed, ma'am.
I was touching now on the financial side of things. Now there's grief, right? On one side there's grief, and there's this feeling that we have when I'm not happy. I'm not looking forward to going home. I'm not looking forward to reconnecting because I'm still grieving. Then there's the financial expectations that is placed sometimes over us by our families. The unrealistic expectations. What December, when we must, you know, spend money that we don't even have. And sometimes this expectation is also, it's put on us by ourselves. And I call this the unrealistic expectations that we place on ourselves, the unrealistic pressure that we put ourselves under financially. What do I mean? Uyazazi where you are financially, and yet you want to impress your friends. You know, to live the soft life. You know, going and buying things that you can't afford. You know, because you're trying to prove to people on social media, people that don't even care about you, who don't even know you. You know, also impressing our families because we want to be seen as people who can afford life. You know, even when we are struggling financially, we're not honest sometimes with our families. You know, and I want to say to you, be honest about your financial situation with yourself. You know, assess where you are financially. Do not put unnecessary pressure on yourself, you know, go December, just because you are trying to impress your family, just because you are trying to get people to accept you, you know, because sometimes kukhona lento yobana ingathi xa singenamali we are not going to be accepted emakhaya, you know. Xa ugoduka ungenamali ingathi awuzufika wamkeleke ekhayeni, you know. And we need to actually stop putting price tags on our worthiness, on our, you know, the value of our lives and who we are. It's so toxic, and it can leave us, you know, with serious mental health consequences, because into zakwenzeka, because you're trying to live up this soft life, uzawuthatha imali ebhankini uyoboleka loans because you're trying to prove bana wena you can afford to go on holiday in December, you know. Uzayoboleka imali because you are trying to prove, you know, family yakho bana, oh, you actually are driving this car, uhambe uyothatha imoto go Avis unnecessarily, so because you're trying to prove and maintain a status that you no longer perhaps, you know, are in. And it's so unnecessary, and it's so stressful, guys, because you have to come back to your own life, face the music, you know. December, you have to pay back, you know. The car that you hired, you know, you have to pay it back, you understand. Accident, you know, now you have, you know, another debt that's piling up. So what I'm trying to say is that especially us singabantu abamnyama, we need to stop this thing ongathi life starts in December. Ngathi December, it's the end of life. We must prove, how wonderful of our lives we have, and see that we competition of some sort with each other, trying to impress one another financially. So, and I'm saying that don't do or don't try to prove into yobana unemali ongenayo. If you don't have it, it's okay. Just do what you can afford. Look, if you can't afford to go on holiday, go do ezilalini kokwenu and just live your peaceful life there. If you cannot go to Chris Brown show, look, sit yourself down.
Did you just?
You know what? Too soon, guys. This is ahead. But you know what I'm saying? Like, hlala phansi, have an honest conversation which is something that I always say. It's very difficult to have honest conversations in mind with ourselves. But iqala phayana, be honest with yourself. Then you can be honest with your loved ones. I mean, Sambi, efemelini yakho, you are used to having a yearly outing, niphume, and maybe this year you can't afford it. It's going to be important to sit down, abantwana bakho, or sit down your family and let them know, look, guys, financially, I'm just not going to be able to afford 1, 2, 3, and 4 as per usual. And sometimes you don't even have to explain things into detail, but you just have to be honest. Anayo imani. That's it. I can't do this because anayo imani. This is what I can do. This is what I can't do. And all I'm saying is be mindful that December will come and will go. And then the next year will come. Life must continue. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
And she's sticking to it, y'all. Thank you so much, Queen. I'm sure a lot of people I'm in right now is that they can quote the podcast in terms of people putting pressure on them, or them putting pressure on themselves. Because it's like as you say, I mean, like we taking loans, we're doing all kinds of stuff because we want to be present or
so we try to almost fake it till you make it. I hate it because sometimes you fake it when it's not necessary for you to be faking it. Like sometimes you just have to show up as your real self. Like, look, this is me, this is where I'm at right now, and that's it. Take it or leave it. And people that love you will be with you, will want to be with you regardless of the important people who care about you, who really just want to experience you as a person. They will still find a way to spend time now with broke, so we don't always have to show off fondoni, so that you also pin stress when you're supposed to be paying, and then January, you don't answer the calls when they're trying to
right. And you and to think about it, I mean, like if you're a parent, I mean, guys, it's just 2 weeks of just acting crazy, of spending copious amounts of money. I think like more on a psychological way of thinking and doing stuff. Home is where the heart is, home is where love is, home is where peace is. You go home unala kona udla, ngapha koxande udla ngoyohlala khona, and you think izinto zakho, and all of these things. I think we need to workshop ourselves and actually redefine what home is as we grow older and we have responsibilities. It's not a place where you go and be in jail and you're put under pressure to do things or you feel you're obliged to. It's the place where you grew up. It's the place where you should actually, some people keep collections of old CDs or whatever, even though we've moved on. Go dust those CDs off and play. I mean, like, and play, music that's going to revive you, and you're going there to freshen up. That's to refresh yourself. And I mean, like, there are books, that you can immerse yourself in. It doesn't necessarily mean that go home and party up until you can't and spending money that you don't have. So I think, I mean, like, if you look at Christians, to an extent, obviously they do spend money, quite a bit, but obviously they know that they have their Jesus moment and all of that, where they spend they no offense, but no offense. You
Also,
know,
you know what?
where
I blame Christians about this thing. You're 25th of
you're 25th, right?
money unnecessarily at 25. There's this pressure, man. You know, we must go home and now funeka kuthengwe okutya kuzawuphekwa nge-25. You know
As
what,
beetroot.
guys? Umngqusho if ukhona and you know stew whatever like kutyiwa le nto ikhoyo. Also that pressure ubana makuphekwe is another thing that we have to kind of like just dismantle. You know, Christmas is not about ubana kufuneka kwenzelwe 7 colors singanaye
Mm.
it's actually spending time with family and being together, sharing the meal that is there. Uba kutyiwa umphokoqo makutyiwe umphokoqo, sonke silapha if sikhona sine-chance yodibana, and that's it. Like, let's stop
Pressure
this
yani, guys.
pressure, you
Pressure
know?
yani. Her name is Tobeka Msengana. She is a qualified, counseling psychologist. She has a private practice, and you can get the details right here. Okay, Sengana Tobeka at gmail.com, and there's the number as well. Because as you say, Toto, I mean, like, there's a lot. I mean, like, emotionally, I'm an anxiety-prone person. It doesn't matter. It could be something small or whatever. So I need to condition myself, before I do things, and I understand myself to be that way. Somebody else doesn't. So it's very important to make sure that you actually just check in with people who are qualified, just to make sure that you are in the right frame of mind, especially during this time. Thank you for that. Yes,
last
sister.
minute, so on this thing, because we also remember what December is also that time where people will show off about their successes throughout, the yearly successes. So it's a time of reflection. So it can also bring us down because we feel like we've failed. We feel like a failure about December because I have nothing to show. Maybe this year was not a very, a very successful year in that you didn't achieve the things that you set out to achieve this year, And so we have nothing to show. And I think, again, we need to redefine what success is. I mean, if you are healthy, at the end of the year, that's successful because that means you've taken care of yourself physically and mentally. That's a win. So I think, again, la pressure, we need to show things, physical things. Oh, don't deny the same thing, that's success. And those are things that put us down and that make us depressed and they make us feel like we are, somewhere, somehow we're failing in life. And I just want to say, again, go easy on yourself. And just understand, it's just the end of 1 year, the next year we pick up again and
That's still yours. That's still your year, bro. Like, that's the way you should be looking at it. I had a quick conversation with a best friend of mine this morning, and I was like, so I'm like, dude, I am, as much as I am contemplating or wish that like I could just like stay put, and we were sharing, okay, this is why I'm going, and this is how I'm going to make it happen. I like it. You have a plan that you're going to implement, and the most important thing is to make sure that you stick to that plan. Yeah, man. That is it, Buffet 2. Please, there you go. At the bottom of Toto there, at the Slicer TV podcast, please do like, subscribe on YouTube. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and don't forget the conversation that we had earlier on, guys. Let us be safe. Let us make sure that we, as well, Toto, what's the word, to cooperate with law enforcement officials. You being cocky because you are in a hurry or you just bought a new car and don't know why this person is like harassing you and stuff like that. The only way that we can make it work, or this December can be a memorable one, is if we are patient with each other. We practice all of these things. And I think to end it off, I think we're right at the end of it. I was going to share, we miss you, Zizi.
Man, oh.
Yeah. Miss that dude.
Like review, serious. You know what?
It's chocolate. It's chocolate.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
one Chris Brown, who's that South Africa?
And then the next thing still, it's fine, guys, fine, money, I'm tired. But just on the music, on the music side of things, a very beautiful one. It's come up the collaboration between these two. They've come up with a new album, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. There's a track
Oh,
where they feature Sting. They've got a couple of beautiful collaborations in there, and I was talking to another hip hop head about Ice Cube. Ice Cube is also from the same era, was on the same group
oh,
NWA with Dr. Dre, and
yeah,
he went solo, did successfully. I mean, like he's into movies now, and
yes,
basketball league and all of that. And they're very interestingly, he released an album on the same day as Kendrick Lamar. I don't know where that puts him because he's an OG,
oh,
but when I listen to it, as a person who's followed his career throughout, I just figured, nah, you could have done without this album. Because for starters, I mean, it's a young man's game.
yeah,
For you to be talking about bees and and all of this
yeah, yeah.
at his age, rather. But as far as these two are concerned, I mean, Snoop Dogg has a license to smoke weed wherever the fuck he goes. No one can say no. No one can
One
say
thing
no to him.
Ngayo with Snoop Dogg is, him and his weed, you're not gonna come between him and the
No, no,
weed.
no, 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 no,
Like,
no. They actually did a thing.
I
There's one guy who went to Iceland, I think it was, and he was like, "Yo, I was looking for something to smoke. I had to call Snoop and try to find out if he knows somebody. Was it Ti? It was one of these rappers, but he was like, "Yo, I'm in this
yeah,
place and I'm looking for weed." He calls Snoop, and Snoop says,
of
"Okay,
course,
here's a number. Call this
of
guy."
course.
He goes to another country, calls Snoop, is like, "This is who's gonna hook you up." The Godfather. It's good to have them back, man. Like, I mean, he has a lot of beautiful tracks there. I mean, like in terms of content as well, what he talks about, his flows, and it's just it will wait for Urara to review. I just figured
Sure.
for heads.
Yeah.
Toto, in closing, what were you guys doing here? Because this was in East London. Here. Just check this. Just check this thing. Where is this guy now? I
What?
really want to find out what was going on.
Oh gosh.
It's trending. It's all over. It's all over social media.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's Africa Unite. Apparently, took place in East London as well.
Yes, there were so many events that were taking place. I heard about this one, but I wasn't part of the. I didn't attend this. But in closing, I would just say, guys, I realized, Vana, you know what, after 10 o'clock, I just kind of like lost interest. I was just like, okay, we need to speed this up a little bit. Like we gotta wrap it. Mommy's ready to
Let's
go
wrap
now.
this up.
We gotta go to the. I need the conclusion now. Okay, we gotta go to the end now. I mean, it's always good. I want to encourage you to you don't have to go all big to do things that will make you happy, to do things that will make you feel good about yourself and good about your life. Do what you can with what you have. We always overcomplicate into December, right? And I want to encourage you, wanna simplify it. For me,
Mm.
I'll be going home, so and I find for myself it works all the time. Go home as Lalini. That's where I get my energy back. Just not doing any crazy things. I'm not spending any money that I don't have. I'm just going to be a kaya with my family, doing nothing. And that helps me to recharge. I'm going to be disconnecting a little bit from social media, and just really spending time with myself, taking a few books that I'm going to read. And then what I've also started doing is, because we're slowing down with the gym and whatnot, so I started to do walks for wellness as well, and just inviting,
Oh
you know,
wow!
our
Always
our
looking, always
viewers.
looking for trouble for no damn reason. That's
So
to stay fit.
if you want to just keep fit still and just take things a little bit slower, let's take some walks. I'm gonna be walking as Lalini. But what I also have been doing, which is interesting, is I've always wanted to listen to some pods, but I didn't have time. So I'm now
Mm.
merging my walk with the podcast, and it's been an amazing experience, which has kind of like actually helped me to enjoy walking because I'm a runner. So walking is not always enjoyable.
Mm.
Yes, because you know you're taking longer than you would take in a run. But I have actually been enjoying the walks because I've been listening to some very interesting podcasts and just on topics that I've always been interested to listen to. So again, not spending any money on that. I'm just keeping my fitness
Mm.
up and still maintaining my mental health. Again, at a reasonable level of effort because I'm not trying to do anything that's going to drain my energy.
Yeah, Queen. Look, as I said, I'm just a ball of all kinds of stuff at the moment.
Yeah, yeah,
Winding down is very important. Spending
yes,
as much time as possible, and I don't even have like a clear. I'm doing this on this day. I'm
yeah,
doing that on that particular day. But we are probably will be driving down to the Eastern Cape just to see family and then out again.
yeah.
Because it's something that we did last year that I enjoyed,
Mm,
which was driving back on the 31st. I think like um, um uh, we got it was I think at midnight we were closer to Joburg or something, like driving back.
yeah, yeah,
It was so peaceful on the roads,
yeah,
because people are in different places enjoying
yeah,
Bamkela Tonga and type of thing.
yeah, yeah,
So it's a thing, and I'm also going to try and make sure that, like, I spend New Year's this side.
yeah,
It makes it easier to start
yeah,
your year without that
mm,
extra traveling and
yeah.
expenses and all of that stuff. Maybe that's advice somebody can take as well. But Queen, thank you
Mm.
so much.
It's been a pleasure. Take care of
You know what?
yourself.
Oh yes, please, guys.
Yeah.
Especially what we were talking about to get the spokesperson for from the
Yes.
Department of Transport. If you're gonna
Yeah.
be spending time on the road, please, please, please make sure no arrogance from public transport drivers. If abantu abakhweleyo bathi bhuti le moto ingathi uyozela, please
Makes
do
sense.
so that
Yeah.
you put your customers at ease.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that ukukufostela yo no sesifikile and like and stuff. So guys, thank you so much, Queen.
So we'll meet again, guys. It's been
Until we
amazing.
meet again.
Da,
Oh,
da,
we're not allowed
da,
we're not
da.
allowed we're not allowed to sing.
Signing out. Okay, bye.
Hey,
Before
Queen,
things
night
get
viewers,
crazy.
thank you so much, guys. Please do
Bye,
like,
guys. Yes, please.
subscribe, follow us, and please do leave a comment in terms of what you would like to see on the podcast,
Yes.
or people that you want us to
Yeah.
bring
So
and speak to, like we have done now with the spokesperson for the department. Thank you so much, Queen. It's been swell.
see you, Sly.